Hi, you are listening to Parts and Charts, the IFS and Astrology podcast. And this is KP Kashibowski, the astrologer of the podcast. Chelsea Owens is the therapist. We did an interesting episode with Lisa Broggi, who is also known as the Lilith Therapist. We talked a lot about the 12th house experience, how to work with it, how to understand what's happening when you're inside of a 12th house moment. And there's just so much that we covered. So we're splitting this into two. So this is part one. You will get to know a lot of the what is the 12th house, orient yourself to how it feels, that kind of stuff in part one. Part two is where we talk more about therapeutic uses of the understanding of the 12th house. So please come back for that episode. There's a lot of more integration, I would say, that happens at the end of our recording. I do want to say that before Lisa, Chelsea, and I met to record this episode, we did a guided meditation that was recorded ahead of time. So all three of us experienced the same 12th house guided meditation to help us get into our body to really feel what our personal experiences are with the 12th house. That is available through Substack. If you want to experience that as well, we're offering that to our paid subscribers. So you can find that in your paid subscriber introduction email once you subscribe through time forever, or you can go back in time and find either the April or the May 2026 post where we have that file for you. And also, I just want to shout out to Lisa. She's been on the podcast before, and I know if she says yes, we would love to have her back on, because what Lisa's able to do is to connect a lot of up in the sky information that can feel kind of unmoored and difficult to apply to our daily lives. And she takes that and makes it just more easily accessible, applicable. And I know it's because of all of the work that she's done in her studies as an astrologer and all of the work she's done with her clients as a therapist. Okay, so here's part one of our 12th house episode with the Lilith Therapist, Lisa Broggi.
And we're back.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. We're so pleased to have one of our favorite guests back. She's back.
I'm back.
It's Lisa, the Lilith Therapist. And she's here today to give us some knowledge, some guidance, some juicy tips about the 12th house. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, thanks for having me. Truly, I adore you both, and I love wherever we go with these topics. I appreciate you having me. And yeah, I am obsessed with the 12th house. I'm a big 12th houser. And also, as we were talking before we started recording, that the 12th house can be tricky to talk about.
Yes.
So just knowing that, because it's kind of an elusive, is that the right word? It's an elusive house, but I'm excited to share what I can share, because I am interested in looking at the 12th house, not as this doomsday thing, right? Which if you've fallen down the internet hole, that's absolutely what you're going to find. But also the gifts of it, and also how you can work with it and support it.
Yes. I very much appreciate that. And because before I started practicing Hellenistic astrology, almost all of my outers were in the 12th house, and everything said oh, you're going to be an alcoholic, you're going to live in jail, all these very scary things.
Hospital. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
So then I really love my whole sign setup because nothing's in the 12th house.
Yeah. That's what we call lazy astrology. Also, that was the old interpretations. I know. Sorry, I'm being a jerk. I'm being
Love
a little.
it.
But we know so much more about it. It's also it's the mystical house.
Yes.
And people who could tap into, superpowers, dare we say, or psychic things. And that used to be that then you would put that person in an institution. You know what I mean? So that's what I have to say about that. It's way more complicated, right?
That's a really, I think, a good thing to say right up front. People who have been exiled by society, are often, you can find information in the 12th house about that. And for a long time, it was women who were intelligent or people who had access to the beyond, and they looked quote unquote insane.
Wow.
Yeah. But those are
Mhm.
powers that were scary to society and still are for sure.
Yeah. Well, and I do want to
Um,
give the disclaimer, like the 12th house can be hard, by the way. Like it
Okay.
is challenging. There are things in there. And if not held and contained in a grounded way, you can, I don't want to say lose your mind, but like
yeah.
it can be unsafe kind of, right?
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
Before
interesting.
we really jump in, I just want to mention that Lisa is a brilliant astrologer and a
Mm.
therapist and practices astrotherapy and astro coaching, right?
Yep. I
Yeah.
do the therapy and astro coaching. I wear all the different hats these days
Yes.
and teaching courses and stuff. That's my like newer realm that I'm entering into.
You
Yeah.
are? Gosh,
Yeah.
online
Big
or in
news.
person?
Definitely online. Be able to attend my internet friends.
Yay. Okay,
So we
great.
will have to update everyone once that is launched. We'll make sure that's in our show notes
That's so
Mm,
exciting.
because that's going
Mm,
to be so good.
mm.
Um, okay, so there's so much to cover with the 12th house. We're going to make connections to IFS as Chelsea practices,
Mm,
and we really want to focus on like when in a more therapeutic or psychological sense with this house. There's so much we can cover, but we're going to really try to focus on emotional wellness, emotional experience, and like how to get through.
mhm.
So let's start with maybe our personal transits right now as they relate to
ooh,
the 12th house and how they all look very different and very similar. So,
Mm.
do you want to start, Lisa, with your current transit in the 12th?
Sure. Yeah, it could be a good, and maybe my experience can kind of help give one big picture of what I view this house as. And again, more disclaimers, like the 12th house could be infinite things. And it is going to be different for everyone. That's like the true disclaimer asterisk,
Yeah.
right? So this is my own experience and how I view it. But I am almost about to finish up having transiting Uranus in my 12th house.
mm,
And so that's since 2018, right? That's when Uranus
Yeah.
entered. So that has been a big deal for me. Definitely some of the biggest life-changing transits of my life. Because I have a big 12th house. So in Placidus, I have my Sun, my Moon, my Venus, my Mercury, and my Chiron all there.
Oh, wow.
whoa.
Very dramatic. And then in full sign, it's lighter. It's only my Sun and my Moon in Taurus.
Only
Which
the
are
luminaries.
I know only
Oh,
the two like most personal. So I do consider myself a 12th houser no matter what. So essentially Uranus went over, yes, my Venus, my Mercury, but I say the bigger ones were my Sun and my Moon in my 12th
okay.
house were fucking humongous transits for me, life changing.
Really?
Oh yeah, that's like when I mean, there's so many things that happened. I like quit my clinic job in the city, started my own
Wow.
business. That's when I super committed to bringing in the astrology into therapy. Like it was
Mm-hmm.
very Uranian in that I was like, I'm going my own way. Like I'm going to be more
Mm-hmm.
authentic. I'm going to do my thing.
Oh,
Right.
cool. Yeah.
That's also when I moved.
Yeah.
I totally left the Bay Area after 15 years. But the bigger thing I want to say, so yeah, all these personal things because I had very personal placements there. But the other thing I want to share was because a big part of the 12th house, and everyone please kick it or like, interrupt me. It's the unconscious,
Yeah.
right? And that means a lot of things. It
Mm-hmm.
certainly is your own personal unconscious, right? Which can mean lots of things. It can be things that happened when you were super young. So you don't necessarily consciously remember it, but obviously it lives inside you, right? We know this with psychology. It can also be unconscious material that you've like inherited from your lineage, from people in your family, right?
Mm.
And then it can also be connected to the collective unconscious, which I'm not even going to touch right now. But anyway, long story short, I kid you not, having Uranus go through my 12th house, I feel like I discovered like Uranian insights of shit that lives inside my unconscious. Like it
Yeah.
really came to the surface during this transit. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that was really fun and it was insightful and it was like connecting the dots, right? And other times it was very uncomfortable bringing up all kinds of old trauma and stuff stored in the body. Um, yeah, and really bringing, early life stuff that has deeply impacted me for my whole life. So
Wow.
kind of uncomfortable. By the way, mind you, this was all like pandemic years.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. Yeah.
But the cool thing is, right, because we're doing the positive twist here too, and I do mean it, is that I've gotten to work on a lot of this stuff, right? That's
Yeah.
part of your 12th house is figuring out what is living inside me that I don't know about that does actually like impact my life, whether I'm conscious of it or not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I brought up a lot of shit and I've done a lot of therapy, done a lot of work, a lot of somatic stuff to integrate it. Everything's always a work in
Mm,
progress. Um, but I think I'll stop there for now. Like it brought up a
Yeah.
lot of stuff for me.
There's two
wow.
things that are coming to mind that so Uranus has been in Taurus, the sign of the body, the
Yeah.
physical presence experience. And you're talking about somatic, like where things have been stored in the body. And I do think that a 12th house in Taurus, like we're talking in the whole sign,
Yeah.
would have a lot to do with what's stored in the body, like being liberated. That's the second thing, is that
Yeah.
Uranus usually liberates us, and liberation is not pretty. It's never pretty. It
No.
often is messy. So yeah, like there's a positive element is that you are liberated afterward, but things have been lost in the process.
Yeah.
Things have
Mm,
had to come up and be purged basically in the process.
Yep.
This is a very Uranian experience. This is not for everyone with the 12th house in Taurus experience.
Totally.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
For saying that. Yeah. Also grief came a lot of grief coming up too, which the
Mhm.
12th house can definitely store,
Yeah.
right? It can be
Uh,
your own unprocessed grief. It can also be, again, I'm going to keep naming how, and I want to hear your thoughts too. It's not even your shit all the time in the 12th house. It can literally be your
um,
family of origin and people you don't
Mm,
know about.
mm,
Their
mm,
business, their unprocessed grief that's
yeah.
been passed down that lives
mhm.
inside you. So that's the other reason why the 12th house can feel murky is you're like, wait, what the hell is
Uh,
this? I don't even
Yeah.
like where this comes from, but you'll feel it so deeply.
Yeah.
do
Yeah,
you think that it's even like past lives? Like not even, your own lineage, but like past lives?
totally. People are really into that with the 12th house. Of course, my
Yeah.
therapist brain, I'm like, we have enough content in this life,
Yeah.
I
but
know, right?
for sure, I have no doubt that
Because when we
there,
were
yeah.
doing I did KP's 12th house meditation, which you can get if you're a paid subscriber. And I got a little past lifey like
Mm,
information, a little ping about that as I was going through it. And I was like,
mm,
oh, like yeah, I knew that, there's a strong lineage or, familial lineage and ancestral component to it, but there's a little bit of past
totally.
life. There's something that like I noticed I was holding on to and I'm like, why can I not get over this one thing? Like, why is that belief so effing strong?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I think it's not all mine, but it's like could also be past life stuff. But anyhow.
Well,
Mm.
that makes me think of the legacy burdens in IFS.
Mhm. I know, totally. Yeah.
And
Mm.
legacy burdens don't have to be from your bloodline either. Is that true?
Um, I don't know like the, clear delineation if there is one, but I think the way that we talk about the legacy burdens, they're mostly coming from your own like line, but
Okay.
cultural burdens can come from like there's like so many different types of burdens, but like they kind of categorize the cultural burden as more like you don't have to be related to the person to experience or carry some of what they carry or have carried or the trauma that
Yeah.
they're carrying. So there's definitely like, that you can absorb that from
Mm.
anywhere. Yeah. But yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's very much that feels so 12th house. Yeah.
man, IFS with the 12th house, I just can't get over it. We have to nerd out there. I don't know when we're going there, but it's huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
That it could be a whole workshop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I said enough. I want to hear about y'all's. I want to hear
But
your transit.
in the meditation, I did have a moment, and we might be talking about the same moment, Chelsea, where like what is mine? I forgot what the words were, but what is mine that came from someone else or whatever that was.
Oh, yeah. Did you say that? Yeah.
And
Mhm.
it's interesting that we talked about like it's difficult to find language for this because I usually have a really easy time decide or like choosing words when I'm in these meditations, especially with the planets.
Yeah.
The 12th house is like I think what my body was telling me is that what I'm still holding that someone else gave to me is stoicism, but that's not what I mean. Like I can't
Ooh.
really locate the words because it's like this like you must be tough and I know it's coming from my father's line
Oh my gosh,
who came
yeah.
from Norway in a pretty difficult experience where my my grandfather was a first gen, very stoic, very tough man. He drove trucks through the mountains, got stuck in them one time, and got out by himself by chaining the
Wow.
whatever the tires. And I'm like, I don't think anyone else on the planet would have gotten out except for him because he has just like such a toughness.
Hmm.
Um, Pisces sun too. I don't know. Anyway, very interesting man and I don't have words for it, but I do know it's coming from there. And
Yeah.
it's like, it's not even visual for me. And usually I get really strong visuals when I'm in
Yeah.
meditation too. So I'm just pointing that out that like you're
Mhm.
getting information, but you can't categorize it when you're in
Yes.
there.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just frustrating for humans. Like we really like
Yeah.
categorizing things.
Well, I
For
think
sure.
that and I don't wanna be too, like, optimistic about IFS, or maybe I do, and but
Yeah.
I I I wonder if you took a lot of that information in with you into insight work that you would discover, like, it would become more clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you there
Mm.
maybe it would solidify or, like, you would actually some of that maybe more unconscious material would kind of show up as parts, or as, as parts that are carrying or know about these burdens. So, I think that's all good information and that you could
Yeah.
you could see what happens. Yeah.
I love that. Can I also piggyback and say, also, you could just need the right transit, literally,
That's
Ooh,
spot
real.
or touch, whether it's your 12th
yeah.
house or the ruler of your 12th house or whatever. And you might get like a sudden insight where you're just
Ooh.
know this to be true.
Mm.
Um,
Ooh.
yeah, in your bones. Like that was part of my Uranian experience. I did have like one really huge, they say like Uranian downloads, like it'll just like a
Yeah.
flash. I did actually have one of those moments and it was kind of insane.
What?
I know. So you never know, my dears.
Wow.
And also I
Yeah.
do feel like and like we know this with therapy, it's like also your system, your body w- needs to wait for the right time for stuff to be known.
It's true.
I don't know if I
Yeah.
articulated that, but like
Oh yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
there's a season where it's more right for something to really come through.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we see that with with clients too, right, Lisa? Like sometimes
For
people
sure.
come in and they kind of think they're ready for therapy, but as you get into it, it's like, oh, it's not the right time. Or, nothing like their protectors are too strong right now, which is fine, but you're not gonna
Yeah.
probably get very far very fast, right? Or maybe
Yeah.
it's just not the right time to be in therapy. Yeah,
Mhm.
so right, there has to be a time for it and your parts have to allow for that. And the planets have to align.
All of it. I love you so much.
Speaking of transits,
What?
Chelsea, maybe there's something about you have Jupiter going through your 12th right now, and
Yeah.
he's been there for basically more than half of his transit. So you've had some good
Yeah.
time with that. Like, do you
Have I?
feel something? Have you?
I think
Yeah, a
I
good
think,
time with
like,
a 12th house transit.
a good time. I feel like I set myself up to be so excited about it, and not that I'm, like, disappointed at all, but I think I was just expecting, like, I don't know, some really, like, big lucky, like, moments.
Yeah,
And it hasn't been bad, like, I think I have had, like, luck in certain aspects, but, um, it's not over yet, so I'll let you know.
Mhm.
But, then it's gonna go into Leo, which I think is gonna be even better for my
Yeah.
chart. So, I think it's just gonna continue, like, this good year is just gonna continue. But I
yeah,
don't really know if I don't know if I can point to many, like, exact moments of, like, how to explain what that transit is like, But didn't you say also Mars was kind of throwing a wrench in that plan for a little while? And Jupiter was retrograde too, so you were like,
Yeah. So I think about like if we're thinking about the themes that Jupiter can show us or give us examples of, like faith is a really huge theme.
oh,
Making meaning of things. So like it was meant to be is a very Jupiterian comment
oh,
or way of thinking. And what you're saying is like I told her that Mars was throwing a wrench in it because Jupiter was he was going over your Sun and Mars, your natal Sun and Mars, and then retrograding over them and then going over them again.
Oh my
That
oh
God.
that
yeah.
has not happened yet, but he's approaching going back over forward your Sun and Mars. So
He's so
there's just
annoying.
a lot happening there that I wonder if it'll make a lot more sense with this
Oh
next
yeah.
movement.
Okay.
Mm.
When is
Yeah.
he gonna go retrograde again? Soon?
Not in your sign. No,
Oh,
not
okay.
in Cancer. Mhm.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So I wonder if there's been a testing of faith.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Great
every
question.
day, like it's been up and down.
Yeah.
So that makes a
Mm.
lot of sense.
I think a lot of Leo risings are really ready for Jupiter to get out of the 12th
Really?
house. But but like we want to think about these transits, like Lisa said, as like opportunities for things to come forth or arise without us forcing it. Like, I want to work on my skin texture. You can't do that shit with the 12th house. You just let things appear to you and you respond or you receive whatever's happening.
Mm.
Surrender is a big keyword here, right? I feel like the internet
Wow.
says that one. So
Yeah.
spot
Oh, yeah.
on. Yeah. And it's definitely not over, Chelsea. Can I ask one question for you about that
Yes.
transit? And
Yes.
again, you don't need to share the contents, but do you feel like anything like that lives inside you did come up or was amplified? I mean,
Mhm.
you're a therapist, you've done a lot of work on yourself already. But I'm curious if some shit got kicked up that does live inside you.
Yeah, there's a few things. I mean, relationally, yeah, but I think mostly what KP is talking about, just like, yeah, faith being tested and like kind of hopelessness about the future without getting too dark.
Mhm.
So and that
Yeah.
ties to faith for me. So yeah, like some like which I think also probably has some legacy or ancestral burdens attached to it. Because some of it
Sure.
doesn't totally feel like all mine. Some of it does, but I think there's bits of it where I'm just like, this,
Mm.
like, I don't know why I just like can't let this go. Or why is
Mm.
this affecting me or affecting my faith so strongly? Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense. And I worked on it and worked on it, and it still feels, yeah. So I think there's some stuff that's not mine there for sure. Uh, yeah, I'd say mostly around like just faith and hope
Mhm.
and love.
It's
Yeah.
like I want to say it's not fair. I think that's the Libra parts in me. Both of you have really significant placements in your 12th house. So you have this ability to understand or feel 12th house energy maybe more than other people because that is your
Mm,
pretty consistent experience. So then when
mm.
there's a transit, it's like, okay, I thought I thought I knew how to do this, but it's just in a new way. Like Jupiter's doing it in the Jupiter way. It's like you don't have Jupiter there. So
Mm.
it is going to still feel like a true 12th house, like what the hell is happening
Mhm.
experience.
Oh yeah. Right. So people, yeah, people, if at least for me, like if I had cancer in any other house and Jupiter was there, of course, it would be a totally different experience, but
Very
it
different,
wouldn't
yeah.
be, it wouldn't be this, maybe this internal. It wouldn't be this
Mm.
unconscious. It wouldn't be like just a big therapy session.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are some houses that have similar feelings. It depends. But there is an element where, like, you don't get a choice in things.
Mhm.
You really only have faith
Mm.
in the 12th house.
Oh,
Um, yeah, like, I guess I'm just thinking about there's another element that we talked about ahead of time is that I don't have any 12th house placements, but I just got out of my 12th house year. So every
yeah.
every year is related to a house in our charts, and that gives us information for what our experience will be like that year. And it starts on your birthday, ends on your birthday. And every 35-year-old, every 47-year-old, every 23-year-old, and like every 12 years has a 12th house year, which means desire doesn't work for 12
Oh,
months. You don't you can desire things, but desire doesn't work in the same way. Like you can't just say, I want a cheeseburger and you go get a cheeseburger. Like in the way where like everything I stated I wanted or stated I needed, it's like I was jinxing myself by like
really?
making sure I don't get those needs or wants met.
Like you were
Is how it
being
felt.
blocked, or
Yeah,
were you
that's how
being
it
like,
felt.
asked to like really look at like what it is that you really want? Like were you was there something that's just like, wait a minute, stop and actually look at that? Like what is that for you? What do you think?
I feel like I did not do a great job, even though I was very aware of it as an astrologer. But I feel like I wasn't even being taught a lesson. I think I was just like,
Really?
nope, the laws of the universe will not work for you for 12 months.
Oh.
Um, and I think it was really difficult for me because of how I live my life normally, which is like
Yeah.
desire, make it real, desire, make it real, desire, make it real.
Mm-hmm.
So it did rewire a lot of things in me, and I know that it does feel like it's for a betterment of my experience on this planet. Like I don't push as much, and maybe I don't try as much, but I don't
Oh,
need to try as much as I used to. So I'm happy for what had happened, but those 12 months fucking sucked.
yeah.
Other 35-year-olds are probably having a better time, but when someone comes to me in a 12th house year, I'm like, just a reminder, time and materials don't work the same this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just let things arise as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
I did watercolor a lot more that year though. So that was good.
We started the pod.
We did. Nothing was
Yeah.
working for me. And then I was like, Chelsea, let's fucking do this. And it was great.
Yeah.
That was great.
I'm so glad that was born out of your 12th house year. That feels
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something I could have control over and also zero control, I think was good. 'Cause, like in a conversation, you don't really know where it's going to go. So
Mm.
it felt 12th house enough where I was honoring it. Yeah.
Do you think that
Mm.
because you had like collaboration on that, that is why that actually came to fruition?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was very ill too, most of my 12th house year. So having you to like help me basically not sink into the abyss was thank you very much. I
Yeah.
think also part of the impetus is that I knew the ruler of my 12th house is in my house of partnership. So then I was like, Jupiter, please help me. And he's like, you need a partner. Like partners will help you. I was like, okay, Chelsea.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. And you had your 12th house sun friend to help you as like
Yeah.
a little hermit. What's it
Oh,
called? Like with the lamp, helping guide you.
wow. I didn't even think of that.
That's
She
sweet.
is my hermit lamp.
I know. What do we do? Yeah, I'm used to the imagery.
Oh my God. Oh, we should talk about that. Like having the sun in the 12th house, like
Yeah.
maybe how that feels for both of you.
Totally. Well, do you not both agree? Like I used to have a handle on Instagram that was called Hermit She.
Oh, yeah. That's when I first
Oh,
found you.
Did you know me then? Yeah, I forget.
Yeah.
Before Pink Moon, and because the Hermit card I was always pulling the Hermit card, always drawn to the Hermit card. And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, no shit, you're a 12th houser. Like it just made sense to me. Do you
yeah.
resonate with that archetype?
Mm. I'm starting to like the hermit more, but to me, whenever I pull the hermit, I feel like something inside me is like it interprets that as like you need to stay home, and something inside me gets so annoyed with that because it's like I don't want to stay home, like I need to be out in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But I know it's more than that. But I just always internalize that as like I have to stay home. I stay home so much. I don't want to stay home anymore.
Right. I feel
But
you. But
there's
it
more
does.
to it.
Yeah, it does feel like a great archetype at least. Because the other thing I want to say is the 12th house, its language is archetypes,
Yeah.
symbols, imagery. Right? Do you all agree with me with this?
Oh,
And that
yeah.
Yeah.
especially relates back to like this shit's hard to talk about, right? Although
Yeah.
I think we're doing a good job.
We're doing a
But
great job.
because it is the unconscious and things that are not necessarily tangible,
Yeah.
um a great way to work with the 12th house is like things with archetypes, image cards. Like
Mm.
I mess with sand tray therapy. So
Uh-huh.
it's like noticing what you're drawn. Like there's a part of you, your unconscious, that's going to be drawn to these things, and you might not consciously understand it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so tarot cards are great for that. And
Yeah.
kind of forgot where I was going with this, but the hermit card I feel like has
Yeah.
always I felt that. I feel like it's a great archetype for therapists. You
Yes.
Yeah.
know, like helping guide, like you were going on your own journey and learning and doing your own healing, and then you get to also guide the other people with the lantern.
Yeah.
Like the little dark corners.
Yeah.
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 Mhm, mhm.
I'm very moved by that, because that is how it has felt to work with Chelsea. In,
Mm.
like,
Wow.
honestly, probably the worst year of my life in recent times.
Oh.
Uh,
Yeah. There's also an element of, like, I never felt rushed, and I think the hermit
Mm.
archetype is, like, always moving slowly enough where you can catch the understanding or, like, feel listened to, you know?
Mhm.
mm.
Where there are some other archetypes who have the illumination who are moving so fast you, like, can't keep up with them. Maybe that's more Uranian stuff, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
I had a back when I, like, first cyber met you, Lisa, I think and we, like, did a little exchange and you did a little reading for me. This was during
oh
COVID,
yeah.
so we were both online, and I've had a bunch of readings. I don't even know if I had a reading with KP at that point, but, um, I think it was you that made a lot of points about my 12th house and my 12th house sun and
Mm-hmm.
how much it makes sense that I'm a therapist, and I don't know if anybody really illuminated that for me before, and I was like, "Oh." Like, I never really paid attention to my 12th house that much, and so it really felt yeah, it felt really good to have that validated and understand my son that way, and it all makes sense that we chose this line of work, even
For
though
sure.
I knew nothing about my chart until years into this career path. But it all
Yeah.
yeah, it makes sense that we are both therapists. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And literally 12th house people I feel like are little magnets for each other. Like and I'm always attracting 12th house clients. Yeah, it's also a great that's
Yeah.
another I just drop in 12th house little gems here.
Yeah.
That just makes sense. The other thing with the 12th house that they always talk about, right? Because there is like there can be the self-sabotage. There can be like you're being your own worst enemy. I do want to talk about hidden
Mm.
enemies later, maybe if we come back to it, because I feel really I don't
Mm.
relate to that actually, but I relate to the self as being the own enemy. But that one, like 12th house can be challenging, right? With all the things that you're carrying. But one of the ways that you work with the 12th house or that can help you survive, dare I say, it's so dramatic, is by being of service to other people, right? Like you've
Mm.
probably heard the phrase with the 12th house, like get out of your own fucking way and like go out and be of service to people. So it's like I could sit all day with my own shit and my brain and all the things that I'm holding, or I could like utilize my gifts because there's a lot of gifts that come with the 12th, like attuning to people, really big compassion,
Mhm.
understanding suffering. It's almost like you have radar for suffering in people and in the world, and that's a lot to hold in the body yourself
Yeah.
on top of your own
Yeah.
suffering. And so one of the ways, which is, part of being a therapist is like being of service, helping other people. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be that you're a therapist, but it is I'm really glad it's a great way to channel it, right?
Yeah, that makes so much
Yeah.
sense because I feel like if you are comfortable with, like, going down to the depths at
Mhm.
yourself, then, like, that's how far you can take other people, right? And I think a lot of people who aren't therapists sometimes can see the work that we do and think like, "Oh my god, I can never do that." Or how can you sit with people all day and, they're going through
Mm,
such huge, emotional, I don't know, changes or, you're just sitting with people who are crying or sharing really
true.
deep trauma, like and I'm like, "Yes." And also, like, I'm just like, "Yeah, it's not that hard." I don't know, like, it's not I mean, it can be for sure, it is hard at times, but, like, I think so much of that just comes so naturally that, like, I'm just like, "Yeah,
Mm,
of course I can do that." Like, that holding that container isn't the hard part for me. Like
Yeah.
sitting with someone going through like deep transformation or deep pain, like and maybe I've just gotten to a point where I'm not absorbing that and I can really be in so much self energy that
Mm.
I can be with somebody in that. But I think it's because of my 12th house. Because
Yeah.
I've experienced some of that. Like I know what a lot of that feels like, and it doesn't scare me. I think that's what it is. Like none of that scares me off. And I think for some
Mm.
folks that would feel scary to go down to some of those depths if they're not comfortable with that or even helping people do that. Um, so I really think the 12th house has helped me in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. That was your son in the 12th house just speaking. It was coming through you.
Yes.
Right, Katie? That is
Yeah.
it.
Right?
I think about wherever our sun and our Mars is like where we have endless energy to do something.
Really?
And you have both your sun and Mars at the same degree in your 12th house. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, you have endless
And in
energy for
Cancer?
holding. Yeah. Yeah. In Cancer, for sure.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy, huh?
It's beautiful. Yeah, the capacity to hold it all, the grief, the trauma, and to help people. Again, coming back, like the 12th house is
Yeah.
it's like you're the human flashlight. Like you're like
Ooh,
Yeah.
shining it into their 12th house, or it doesn't just have to be the 12th house. The whole chart has therapeutic
yeah,
stuff to look at, but yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
yeah.
really lucky that that I found the therapist path. We were joking about that earlier. I'm like, thank God we did become therapists, or like, where would this energy go?
Yeah,
You know?
really, I really
Yeah.
wonder.
I
Yeah.
think it's Frida Kahlo who has a bunch of 12th house placements. I hope I'm correct
Mhm.
there. And I think it's obvious where her 12th house energy went, like
Oh,
into
yeah,
self-expression.
Mm.
right.
And
Yeah, because 'cause
her
isn't she
the
a Leo
painting,
rising as well? I think she's Leo
I
rising.
believe so. She has a Cancer Venus, I believe.
Yeah,
Mm.
Cancer
yeah.
Sun for sure. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and the creative expression too is very 12th
Mhm.
house.
Yes. In the mystical way, for sure.
Yeah.
Say more. Yeah, I want to hear your take on that.
Yeah.
Our
I think
Libra.
Mm.
I think also Leonora, is it Leonora Carrington?
Carrington.
Mm.
She
Mhm.
also has 12th house placements, or she just has 12th house energy. Like her strangeness, her darkness, her fascination to detail, but also her details don't feel real. Like that just feels so 12th
Uh,
house to me, whether
Mm.
she is a 12th houser or not. But I mentioned it's the mystical type of artist because there are placements in the chart, like different houses that would be more of like the dancer, the body artist would not be 12th house maybe as much. But it's the person who like really goes in and channels what information is not their own, like from
Mhm.
the beyond, and then brings it back onto the canvas or into the writing
mm.
or whatever. Like
Mm.
people who do automatic writing or
Oh,
trance
yeah.
state creation, like that is so 12th house to me, to the point where when a
Yeah.
client has a lot of 12th house placements is like, do you do trance art making? Because this would be so good for yourself and your life, but also
Mm.
like you're probably going to be the coolest artist on the planet if you do
Oh,
that.
cool.
Yeah. So that's my hot take that I am trying to test by talking to artists for sure.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that.
I was just thinking, like, what are it if you've seen since you attract a lot of 12th house people,
Mm.
you know, like, what are some themes maybe? If clients come in, let's say, you don't even have to speak about real people, like, hypothetically, people are coming in, like,
Mm.
what do you think you'd see with 12 housers? Like, what are things that maybe would be a little shadowy, or, like, what do you think they would be working on in therapy, or what you think people would come in for? And what would you, yeah, work on? I know some of the maybe ancestral stuff, some family stuff, but what else? Yeah, what else do you think you've seen or would see with 12
Yeah,
housers?
that's a good question. I'm like, ooh, is this the hard question? Is this my
I
segment of
don't know.
question? Okay, let me see how I want to approach this. I mean, definitely, it could be a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely inherited stuff. Actually, no, let's back it up. I would start by looking at like what's the sign that is the 12th house, right? Okay, so let's say it's, I mean, we did meet, well, Taurus, whatever. there's something going on with this person's relationship to this sign of the zodiac. Do you feel me? Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
There's
Oh.
got to be something that's a little bit complicated for this
Mm.
person. So first you look at the
Mhm.
sign. Okay, what is your relationship to the qualities of this sign? Do you own it? Do you avoid it? Do you abuse it? Is it exaggerated? Is it wreaking havoc in your life, right?
Ooh.
Um and then obviously looking at the individual planets that are there, like if it's your moon, like what's going on with your emotions? Like are you
Mm.
connected to your emotions? Because the other thing with the 12th house is there could be something that is like developmentally, what do I want to say? Didn't fully get to develop with the proper like sunlight. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mhm.
Like it wasn't
Yeah.
fed in maybe a traditional way, or
Mhm.
because of something that happened to you or the conditioning or the messages you received in your life, whether it's your family or society, you like rejected and pushed that thing down.
Yeah.
Again, this is where the IFS is going to be killer for this combo, right? So again, that's the sign, the planets. Like, what is your relationship to this? There's something complicated. Do you own it? Is it disowned?
Mm.
Yeah.
So what else can I say about that? Yeah, and then obviously that whatever aspects are touching planets in the 12th house, or
Mhm.
you definitely want to look at the ruler of your 12th house, what's going on with that planet, which is going to
Mm.
connect you sometimes to a different house, right? So
Mhm.
it's always an unfolding of the story that's going to be different. But I guess big
Um,
picture, I would say is like, what's going on with this energy? What is your relationship to it? And I might just keep it that broad because again, you can't totally know. But it
yeah.
isn't anything to like repressed or disconnected, disowned, right? Because and again, I want to hear your thoughts, but I do think part of the 12th house journey is learning to give light to those planets that have been hidden for whatever
Yep.
reason, which is going to be different for everyone, right? And letting it find its healthy expression over time, right?
Mhm.
Which is also why they always say 12th house shit gets better with age. And I do think that's true.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Like that you're developing, it's like you can be a late bloomer, or that planet is a late bloomer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to go through some kind of journey to find itself, right? Because for some
Mm.
reason it had to be hidden away,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, so it's kinda I love that, yeah, thinking, like, there could be or just thinking about the relationship the person has to the sign or the planet or the house, that's
Yeah,
yeah, it feels so important to even just start there, and
for sure.
and thinking, like, "Okay, so there could be, like, exile parts in the 12th. There could be strong protectors, there could be all
Hmm.
of it, right?" Yeah, and then tons of
Oh,
burden
yeah.
legacy burdens, all of it, so, yeah.
Oh, for sure. The other thing I just want to just throw in for interesting little nerdy stuff, like, yeah, the 12th house can also literally be what was going on when you were in the womb, right? I'm
Ooh,
sure you've heard that somewhere. Yeah, the conditions of what was going on with like your parents or your mother specifically. So it's what it's like. Again, it's really old stuff that you did take on that
mm,
is living inside you. Uh, and the other thing
wow.
that's interesting with the 12th house is just dropping the psychological stuff is like there can also be something about taking on unlived parts of like your parents or people in your lineage, which I find fascinating. Isn't that
Yes.
Wow.
crazy? So like something, do you know what I mean by like unlived? Like
Yes.
there was something that parent didn't get to do for some reason, or they repressed it, denied it, right? And then there's something that you are taking on by having that 12th house placement that's like, okay, I'm dealing with this now, right?
Well, like,
Yeah.
whether it could be, like, a burden or, like, something positive or something that's, like, weighing you down or
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I think the IFS could be rad. But the unlived thing is so fascinating, right? Like
Yeah,
something
that
that they
Yeah.
didn't get to do that then like I've made funny jokes before where I'm just like, is everything I'm living in my life just like not even mine? Like, am I just like the
Yeah.
amalgamation of everybody who
Yeah.
came before me?
Kind
Wow.
of. I think we kind of are.
Sometimes it does feel that way. And then I'm also breaking some kind of cycle or getting to embody something that somebody did not get to do in my lineage.
yeah.
Mm,
Um,
mhm.
anyway, I feel like I might be steering away from your
Well,
question, but
now I'm curious, do you know your parents' rising signs?
I do. Ooh.
Does
Yes.
that 12th house logic work for what they lived out that maybe their family didn't get to experience?
Like their 12th house, do you mean?
Yeah, because that's where I'm going right now. It's like
Mm.
100% Sagittarius tracks for me. But then I know
Really?
my parents' rising signs, and their 12th houses do actually look like what their parents didn't get to do.
What?
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, you just did that so fast right now
I
in
know.
your brain.
I'm obsessively thinking about my parents' birth charts all the time, so that's why it's fast.
Hey. Yeah, that's so interesting. I'd have to ponder that one for sure. But I have no doubt there's stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't actually know if they have 12th house planets, but yeah, now I want to go back and see what's happening with their charts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at a place in my life where I'm getting a lot of stories about my grandparents who are not here.
Yeah.
And because they're not here physically in this realm, more truth can be shared about them in neutral ways. So yeah, it's like I can see these stories now because before I knew them as people.
Wow.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's
Ooh.
gonna be. Thank you for that. That's gonna be
Oh,
so
we
good.
love it. I love all of our brains. And again, Chelsea, I do want to come back to the IFS part. What do we
Mm.
call that? Are those the burdens, the unlived parts?
I guess, yeah, it could be. That if it'd have to like maybe kind of suss out with parts to, get to know what the beliefs are that they're carrying. Like if there's a burden there and that if there's some developed belief about you, about the client, that
Mm-hmm.
is somewhat kind of affecting them in maybe a more extreme way, right? To see like, and then to see, who that you'd kind of ask, go through all the questions of working with legacy burdens, like, how much of that is yours? How much of that doesn't belong to you? To kind of
Yeah.
suss it out. So that could be really cool. But I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
I think if there's any bits of something that your parents, are passing down or the intergenerational, trauma that they're passing down or whatever beliefs that they carried about themselves that they were repressing, right?
Mm,
And yeah, I think that could easily be passed down, whether they're just, making comments to you as a child or whatever, even talking
mm,
about themselves or making comments about themselves, like,
mm-hmm.
self-criticism that you pick up about your parents, like, kind of start to
Mm-hmm.
internalize that, right? Like, you could easily pick that up. Parts could easily pick that up
Mm-hmm.
and kind of start to carry that themselves.
thank you for joining us for Parts and Charts, the IFS and Astrology podcast. If something sparked insight or resonated with you, we'd love to hear from you.
No, really, we're here to make friends. Reach out to us. Leave a comment, subscribe, and if you feel called, share this episode with someone you care about. Or, if you want to work with us one-on-one and go deeper with this work, check the link in the show notes for how to find us.
Until next time, may all of you feel a part of the family.